Greetings, this is Star Illumination. It's Sunday afternoon here. We're scheduled to go live tonight, Sunday. Maybe we'll get in a couple of live mini readings with the tarot. But I felt I had to comment because there's been so much stuff piling up this week. And as you know, I like to correlate a lot of this with the astrology. And I'm just going to say what I think, say what I feel, and I'll preface it by saying there is still that big, fat, green, grand trine earth signs, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus, with the Pisces pivotal point at the top of the kite. So it's a very harmonious, very, very stable situation astrologically. In my opinion, what's happening is it's allowing reality to become very, very important. Three-dimensional physical reality, just facts. You know, the sun rises, the sun sets. It gets very hot in the daytime. It cools down at nighttime. We have all the other astrology going on. Remember, with the Taurus, it's very active right now, Uranus and Jupiter. So there's so many things happening, but I saw this culmination point, and lo and behold, the whole of that last week, that's what I saw happening. And I'm just going to share with you my views. Of course, you know I have certain opinions about these huge voting events that happened, especially a couple of years ago in early January in America regarding a certain controversial figure who's still very controversial because he has a massive mugshot profile that has exploded all over the earth. And in just a few days, he raised $7 million just from releasing that ridiculous mugshot. And that's just something I couldn't help noticing. I mean, so one of the things that came to my mind, and I've been seeing it everywhere because I'm on the conservative side and I have certain preferred outcomes. A lot of people in my position on YouTube channels, they say, oh, it doesn't matter. I'm not left. I'm not right. I'm not independent. It doesn't matter who wins. It does matter who wins. I'm sorry, because right now, the way I feel it is we're looking at an existential battle between good and evil, tyranny versus freedom, and it's happening all over the world. It's not just here in America with DJT and JB. I mean, and so there's a big question that remains. It hangs over everything. As you know, this fellow Donald, he's astronomically popular. He has a massive movement behind his name, his image, his aura. And it's growing bigger and bigger and stronger every day. But as that energy field grows bigger and bigger, bigger and stronger, the contrarian energy field is also growing bigger and bigger and stronger in a form of resistance. It literally, this energy here, I relate that closely to the Pluto energy of extremes, especially when it comes to power, where there isn't a sort of a middle ground or a negotiation. Hey, let's figure this out. Let's work out a deal. No, it's either we win or they win. It's black, it's white. It's good or evil. You have to make a choice. If you choose not to choose, that's a choice, and you are condemning yourself to whatever the outcome might be. I don't want to do that. I am making choices. One of the questions that's been coming up in the community is like, okay, TL, what do you see happening if the Uniparty manages to steal the 2024 election, even though there might be a very obvious winner who seems to me like he would have an overwhelming win at this point. But as we've already seen, things can be manipulated in this country, America. It's very similar to what's happening in countries all over the world right now with the manipulation of these voting events in order to favor certain outcomes. And to me, it just looks like fraud and betrayal. And I'm thinking of the Pisces-Virgo axis. We're seeing blatant expression of fraud, lies, betrayal, deceit between one group of people and another group of people. And what do we do about it? And so to me, it's a big question. If you want to comment, if you've got some opinions, or I wouldn't be, I would be honored to know. But it's a big question. Let's say, I'll just say it again. What happens if the Uniparty manages to steal the 2024 voting event, even though it's probably leaning heavily towards a populist conservative movement? What happens? Think of Uranus in Taurus right now, a lot of chaos with reality, physical reality. Also think of Pluto in Aquarius at the cusp, which is what's going to be happening when this event happens. So it looks like a time of extreme chaos, upheaval, revolution, and highly, highly unpredictable circumstances. Expect the unexpected. No matter how confident you might be on whichever side of the fence you feel you belong. Anyway, what do you think happens? A couple of things I wanted to also point out. I mentioned it in a video earlier. There's revolution right now in Niger, in central North Africa, on the Sahel region. Basically, I see that as the Aries North Node coming alive. The Niger population wants to get rid of the colonial French, let's say, empire-type leaders who've been exploiting Niger for a very long time. And Niger wants to be free to be Niger. So there's revolution, violence, bloodshed, everything in Niger right now as they are demanding their sovereign right to be themselves and to have freedom. Of course, it's sucking in all sorts of energy, like with the Wagner Group and with Russia. And there's election chaos. Okay, similar thing is happening over in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, Southern Africa. They just had an election as well. Big questions coming up. Is it real? Is it fake? Who won? Who really won? Who didn't win? Who didn't really win? There's been a lot of voter intimidation, a lot of fraud. Okay, so the same thing these are very common stories in a lot of countries, but to have the same storyline that's happening in these crippled countries happening in the United States is a little bit crazy. But the United States is behaving exactly the same way. It's showing exactly the same behavior as countries that are highly, highly fragmented and fragile with their constitutions. Crazy stuff to me. And it's so obvious. That's what I'm sensing with the astrology. This period of time with the big, fat, grand trine and the Pisces top of the triangle making this big, fat, beautiful, stable kite at the same time as this massive Pisces-Virgo opposition, at the same time as the lunar nodal axis, Libra-Aries, hard squaring with Pluto at 28 degrees. I'm just doing my interpretations, okay? There's a lot of war. Months and months and months ago, we predicted war, okay? War, war, war. And, of course, that's what's happening now. And it's expanding. The energy of war is expanding from the seeds that were planted quite some time ago. And so it's expanding and growing all over our planet right now. It's a war machine. That's how I see it. I've got a few notes here. That's why I'm looking this way. And the United States has a lot of experience in war. I'm not going to justify their warlike behavior because a lot of people have suffered at the hands of American warmongering. And it didn't ever have to happen. But war is big business. You just ask the Rothschild family, you ask the mother of the Rothschild boys who managed the banking global system. When they want to make more money, they foster war. Simple. So today we have the military-industrial complex, which is now spread across the whole of our planet. And America is the epicenter of all of that. And they're just trying to keep this thing going. We all know about the story between the crisis in the Maui fires compared to the crisis in Ukraine. Ukraine's getting billions and billions and billions. Maui people are getting $700. To me, it seems absurd. Financial insanity, chaos. Regarding the war machine, there's a big movement over in Southeast Asia, and Australia is teaming up with, the westernized type countries to try and bolster up against the increasing aggression of China. So Australia has been holding a lot of these training missions up in the north in Darwin. And there was a massive helicopter fight. A bunch of people died, including 3 U.S. Marines. Okay, now this is all about training in Southeast Asia for troops to prepare for war. Now, another parallel story is happening in Ukraine, where Ukraine is being supplied with a lot of F-16 jets, plus a lot of other armaments and so on, escalating the war over there. And what was it, 2 days ago? There's 3 dead already, Ukraine pilots, all going through the training programs. The way I see it is the United States military went from about 12 million people basically enrolled in military at the end of, in the middle of World War II. And now we have about 1.2 million people involved in the armed forces. So that's a mind-boggling difference. Even though instead of having 4 4-star generals running everything, we now have 44 4-star generals running everything, trying to, keep the money machine going, while the actual fighting force is diminishing in strength, power, ability, competence. And it's showing very, very obviously. It's very, very sad. The thing that I was mentioning is that basically the United States has decades of fighting experience, including jet fighters, dogfights, aircraft carriers, submarines, boots on the ground, armament design, the technology, everything. We've got, in some ways, astronomical advantages. However, there's so much rot and decay in our administration for the last 30 years, I would say, that our so-called fighting ability has diminished dramatically. And here we are, we're trying to train these people who don't have hardly any experience at all. Go fight wars, make more war, more war, more war. You got to learn how to fly the Apaches. You got to fly the F-16s. And there are these young people going like, whoa, I didn't, whoa, ugh. That was weird. You mean you're actually saying I have to shoot that thing? I have to shoot those people? Wait a minute. I thought I was just practicing on a video game earlier, flight simulator. Wait a minute. Oh my God. And then the training jet blows up. It's real. War is real. War is deadly. War is very, very ugly. And a lot of wars don't have to happen. The reason they're happening is because of money, the lust for money, more power, more control, more money, and that's all connected with the global banking system. I'm not even going to go into the global banking stuff. There's so much crazy upheaval. I'll probably just have to make another video on that. Or maybe I said something about it in the last one. Anyway, I hope to see you this evening. Thank you for watching.